bump into Charlie any?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I see him.
You see him at the golf course and country club? Or?
Yeah, I see him about every other week.
Out there?
Yeah, well, just around town, around there.
I don't see him as much as I would like. Of course, as busy as he stays holed up in that office.
Yeah. I mean, I had a question for him. I had like a question for my dad the other night. I just texted him like Sunday, like at 4 o'clock or something. And I was just going to ask him real quick. I was like, well, I'm at the office. I'll call you about 8:30. He called me at 9 o'clock at night from the office on Sunday night. And he just didn't have time to do it all.
Well, that's true. That's true. I went to a time management seminar in late July, and the guy basically was in a position that it doesn't matter if you're done or not, you need to walk out the door at 6:30.
Right, that's right, you do. Because it'll sneak up just like that.
Yeah, and your life's over, and you'll have a heart attack like, you know. And I'm not saying all his hard work created that. I think there's a lot of family history there. But it just shows you what can happen. You never know what's going to happen. I didn't see the dog in the back.
Do I?
It's a pretty dog back there.
Is that seeing that dog?
Yes, I didn't see it. Therapy dog. Pretty dog.
It's about time.
We got a 4.
Do we?
Yeah, we got 4.
Do we have four?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4.
No Richard? Mr. Turner?
And Nancy.
Not yet, but I tell you what, Sunday
was great Sunday.
Sunday we thought there was a chance, but anyway, she still had a lot of pain down in her hips and back, so she may slip into the after 6. We're going out to dinner for her after this. You'll see how low she's carrying the baby. I mean, the baby is literally.
Yeah.
I tried to call you.
You doing all right?
I saw you call me the other day. I tried to call you back, and it went straight to voicemail. I don't know if you got the message or not. It's one weird one. But anyway, I saw I missed a call from you and called you back.
The what?
We're all forward to it.
I reckon it is my Thanksgiving time tonight.
You'll get together?
Yes.
All right. That's fine.
Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you ready for Thanksgiving?
Oh, yes, sir. Oh, you how about yourself?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Forward to it.
Oh, man, I tell you.
You going anywhere?
No, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to stay here.
I'm going all the way to Dallas.
Boy, that's a good place to go.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited about it.
Yes, sir.
This meeting of the Starkville Board of Aldermen will now come to order. Please rise for the saying of the Pledge of Allegiance to be followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You have before you a copy of the modified written agenda. Are there any proposed changes to the agenda as written? Any proposed changes to the agenda as written?
Let's turn over to the personnel department.
All right.
I don't know if you want to take them one at a time, but I can just shorten my talk here. You want to put them all?
We can do them as a block if you want to.
Can you put them all consent?
All right. Proposed revision from Alderman Perkins is to place items 11I 1 through 5 on the consent agenda. Those items are as follows. The advertisement to fill the vacant position of maintenance worker in the water sewer department as presented. The advertisement to fill vacant positions of police officer in the police department as presented. Advertisement to fill a part-time position of general office clerk in the finance and administration office as presented. The hire of Willie C. Harris to fill the vacant position of maintenance worker in the street department as presented. The approval of promotions of Master Officer William Durr, Master Officer Laura Robertson, and Officer Shane Kelly to the rank of sergeant in the police department as presented. Alderman Perkins, is that your proposed revision?
Yes, sir.
Do I hear any objection? Any objection? Any objection? Any objection? Seeing none, that matter's been placed on the consent agenda. Alderman Perkins, do you have further proposed revisions?
One, Ms. Roy, I see Mr. Rozier and engineer here. Do we need to discuss that? I think, are we in agreement with everything, or do you want them to come forward and present that? How you want to handle that? I'm just seeing, do you want to go on the consent agenda on that building
If you
department?
would like to, that the 10th condition that we have discussed, that should be available to you, that I had sent to the board earlier, Mr. Rozier is in agreement to allow that to go on there with no discussion.
If you don't mind, let's just hear from the applicant real quick, if that is indeed the case.
Yes, sir.
Are you comfortable with that 10th condition being placed in the approval?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Let's get somebody to articulate what the 10th condition is, just for the record.
All right.
Maybe Edward.
Either Lynn, Edward, or Alderman Perkins, would you like to articulate what that 10th condition
Lynn
is?
or Edward, whichever one or both want to come. Both of y'all come over here and just tell the board real quick. And Mr. Rozier, let me just say while they're coming, we appreciate your presence, and since I've been on the board, Dollar General 3, 4, and 5 have come in on my watch, so we have really benefited greatly from your stores, and we're glad that y'all are here, and thanks for being my ward as well, okay? Yes, sir.
And the Chief Administrative Officer acting in capacity as interim planner along with city engineer are going to explain a 10th condition that is going to be added with the consent of the applicant to 9 conditions that were recommended by P&Z to the subdivision.
Yes, this is a condition that the city engineer is concerned about regarding the lineup of the bridle path, which is a street across the street from 389 from this particular development. And the concern of the access, right now, they're just offset about 40 feet, and we're going to try to line them up so that you don't have a conflict with traffic. So that is a condition that the city engineers have begun to look at more closely in all projects coming to the city. And in this case, we were developing how that would all lay out. Mr. Rozier has agreed for us to put that forward as a 10th condition, and he's going to then submit it to his client, Dollar General, to make sure that that works for them. And if there are issues, we may return, but hopefully all of that will come together nicely so it's a win-win for the city and for Mr. Rozier and his client.
Mr. Kemp, do you have anything to add?
Ultimately, it'll be dictated by MDOT, but as we've indicated, Mr. Rozier, we will definitely support, city staff would definitely support doing some alterations or some expansion of his driveway if he was able to align those. We think it'd make a much safer situation for people traveling on 389, people leaving and entering his business, as well as the subdivision across the street. So I do, like our planner said, I do think it'll be a win-win.
And so for the record, just to sum up, is it safe to say that access to the platted property will align with access to bridle path across 389?
Yes, that's the goal. And part of what we've done, just as an FYI, is to create an opportunity where they can do Grass Creek, which allows the access with 18-wheeler so that they can meet our grass element, but also allow it to be drivable not only for our fire truck access, but also for the 18-wheeler. So hopefully it's a win-win for all of us in working through this.
And Mr. Rozier, was that the condition as you understood it to be?
Yes, sir.
Alderman Perkins, do you have a proposed revision?
No, the staff has done great, and we just, if we can put that on the consent agenda with what's been articulated into the record, that's fine with me.
All right, proposed revision from Alderman Perkins is to place item 11B1 with an amendment onto the consent agenda, and that is preliminary plat PP 12-05 A request by Thomas Allen representing applicant for approval of Dollar General, a preliminary plat located at 1010 North Jackson Street in Ward 5,
6.
or in Ward 6,
Yes, sir.
with the 9 conditions as recommended by P&Z, and the additional 10th condition aligning the entrance to the Dollar General with the intersection at Bridle Path and Jackson Street as described by the city staff at this meeting. Alderman Perkins, is that your proposed revision?
Yes, sir.
Is there any objection? Any objection? Any objection? Any objection? Seeing none, that matter's been placed on the consent agenda. Alderman Perkins, do you have further proposed revisions?
No, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Are there any further proposed revisions from the members of the board? Alderman Sistrum.
If there are no objections, there was a late addition under the police department to request approval of the acceptance of a lowest and best bid from Fleet Safety Equipment for the new patrol car fleets. That's something that would typically probably have been on consent agenda had we received it earlier. So if no one objects, I would like to add that to the consent agenda.
Proposed revision from Alderman Sistrunk is to place the approval of the acceptance of the lowest and best bid from Fleet Safety Equipment Incorporated for equipment for the new patrol car fleet in the amount of $24,232 as presented on the consent agenda. Alderman Sistrunk, is that your proposed revision? Do I
Yes.
hear any objection? Any objection? Any objection? Any objection? Seeing none, that matter's been placed on the consent agenda. Alderman Sistrunk, do you have further proposed revisions?
No.
Are there any further proposed revisions from the members of the board? Alderman Ball.
I'm on the board business. A, consideration of approval of the Ottawa County Economic Development Association, OC annual budget for the use of 2% funds in accordance with the enabling legislation HB 1833 and the board resolution dated March 6, 2004. Move it to the consent.
Proposed revision from Alderman Vaughn, as he's just read, so I'm not going to reread it, is to place item 10A as presented. That's the approval of 2% funds for OCEDA on the consent agenda. Alderman Vaughn, is that your proposed revision?
Yes, it is.
Do I hear any objection?
I'd still like for Mr. Wallace to kind of walk us through it if that's all right.
That's all right.
So would you like that matter to remain on the
No,
open
it's
agenda?
okay,
or
it's
you
okay
just-
with consent.
Okay.
but just-
So the matter will go to the consent agenda, and Mr. Wallace, you will still make your public presentation. All right, is there any objection? Any objection? Any objection? Seeing none, that matters on consent. Alderman Vaughn?
Board business B, which is selecting the library Jack McCarthy and Housing Authority Jerry Jefferson.
All right, proposed revision from Alderman Vaughn is to place item 10B, the appointments of Jack McCarty to the Library Board and Jerry Jefferson to the Housing Authority Board as presented on the consent agenda. Alderman Vaughn, is that your proposed revision?
That's my proposal.
Do I hear any objection? Any objection?
No objection. I just make a comment that I think Jerry Jefferson I'm glad that he showed interest, and I'm glad he's going to be on our board.
Any objection? Any objection? Any objection? Seeing none, that matter's been placed on the consent agenda. Alderman Vaughn, do you have further proposed revisions? All right, Alderman Parker.
Under Finance and Administration F1, the fire department claims document.
That's not fire department.
What?
That's all departments except fire department.
Okay, never mind. I rescind.
All right. Any further proposed revisions? Are there any further proposed revisions to the agenda as written? Any further proposed revisions? Seeing none, a motion to approve the agenda as revised is in order.
So moved.
Motion has been made by Alderman Corey to approve the agenda as revised. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Vaughn. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Measure clearly passes. You now have before you the consent agenda. Is there any objection to the approval of the consent agenda as revised? Any objection to the approval of the consent agenda? Any objection? Any objection? Any objection? Saying none, the consent agenda is approved. You now have before you the minutes from the October 16th recess meeting of the Board of Aldermen.
I would move approval as corrected.
Alderman Corey has made a motion to approve of the minutes of the October 16, 2012 recess meeting of the Board of Aldermen of the City of Starkville as corrected by the city attorney. Alderman Corey, is that your motion?
It is.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Vaughn. Alderman Corey, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No, thanks.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Measure clearly passes. And that will take us to comments by the mayor and board. I have no comments this evening. Are there any comments by the members of the board?
Wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Be safe if you're traveling.
I can echo that comment.
Do what?
I said I can echo that comment. Any further comments? Alderman Vaughn.
Don't forget about Starkville playing for the North Half
Yes.
Friday night, so
Yes.
please show your support. And when you come, please cheer. Don't be quiet.
I can echo that one too. Big game. Any
Big game.
further comments by the members of the board? Any further comments? Seeing none, we'll move to citizen comments. At this time, any citizen wishing to make comments may do so by coming forward, introducing yourself, and you'll be recognized to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes.
Greeting to the board. My name is Alvin Tunward. Would like to recognize the Vice Mayor Sid Trump and Alderman Vaughn.
Thank you, Alvin.
Mr. Turner?
The citizens have just a little fear, and that is, now we hoping that the redistricting and everything is in place for the election of 2013. We hope that we don't have any surprises. We hope that the polling places for the 2013 election is also in place, and we don't have any surprises. We want you to be safe. A lot of things have been happening, a lot of tension, a lot of hatred. We want you to be careful because we don't want to go back to the 60s. And that was a very dark era. Let us be careful. And another thing is that we would like for city employees and all to help us out. We are in the time of year where people will con you, take advantage of you. If it's all the city employees, the police, all, let the people know that the real from one that trying to personate those, and that'd be a big help. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Turner.
Hello, my name is Mitchell Young. I'm currently the president of our Longview Disciples 4-H Club, and we'd like to address our club project this upcoming year, Be Bike Smart and Wear a Helmet.
My name is Angela Stewart. I am the club leader for the Longview Disciples 4-H Club, and we are getting ready for our new project, and we're coming before the board asking that we get some support from the board, and as well as to help facilitate some of the classes that we're proposing. The proposed and the objection of this project is to educate the community, youth, and parents on the importance of wearing a bicycle helmet. The parents and to educate the parents and the general public, making them aware of bicycle helmets in Oktibbeha County. To provide bicycle safety classes for youth ages 5 to 18 in Oktibbeha County. To involve other agencies and civic organizations in efforts to assure the continuation of this project. And to significantly increase the use of bicycle helmets for children ages 5 to 18. And to provide free helmets to the youth who complete a bicycle safety course sponsored by the local 4-H club, which is our project for the upcoming year. We have several collaborations. We will have a kickoff on MLK Day, which is January the 21st, and we're just wanting to make sure that the board is informed and that you all will participate. We do have the lady from Jackson who will be here January from the brain injury place in Jackson, and she'll come and she'll do a presentation, but we're collaborating with these volunteer Starkville, so we will have a big kickoff event. We wanted to inform the board. We would love to have your support and help in facilitating this, and that's what we have today. Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thank you. Further citizen comments? Do we have any further citizen comments this evening? Any further citizen comments this evening? Seeing none, we'll move to public appearances. Mr. Wallace, you will have a maximum of 10 minutes to make your budget presentation, and I will remind you that it has already been approved. So this is for informational purposes.
Thank you very much. I was born Thanksgiving Day 71 years ago, so I'm a turkey in a lot of cases. Thank you very much, Board. I'm gonna cover 4 things, and I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have when I get through. I'll cover the budget. I want to tell you a little bit about the research park. I want to tell you something about Cornerstone. I want to tell you something about our new Golden Triangle economic development idea. Our budget that you have in front of you, we have 3 sources of income. We make a little bit of rent income from the RTC amounting to about $34,000. We make about $487,000 in lease income and utility reimbursement. And then we're projecting very conservatively a $215,000 income from 2% food and beverage, of which we get 15%. Of the 2% food and beverage tax, we are able to fund the $100,000 guarantee we made on the front end to the new Golden Triangle link. We think that investment will pay off many times, and we're being very careful that we do budget ourselves and to be able to carry out that commitment for 3 years, and I'm confident we can. Secondly, we have improved our lease revenue with our tenants. We've been working these leases and bringing them back up to commercial standards. We've got some really good lessors with us right now. Renaissance Bank will be moving out in June. We already have that space leased. We will not miss a beat. We've got some really good tenants in Renaissance Bank, in Spark, SSRC, Social Science Research Center, the Center for Public Service, John C. Stennis, excellent tenants, and we feel very comfortable with them. We do struggle with an old building. That's another issue, and I can talk about it all night long. But it's tough to do, but we're dealing with it. We've got 55,000 square feet in that building. All right, moving from the budget, and thank you very much for your approval. We appreciate it. Moving from that to the research park, we have left one prime lot. When you come up the boulevard, the highest point in the park is about 5 acres of land. That is a prime piece of property. That's the only one we have left that's ready to occupy. We have the 70 acres in the north part of that park, but you know as well as I that it's covered with a Brownsfield spot. And we've looked at some grants, and we're struggling with that. It'll cost about $1 million to encapsulate the 30 acres and make it usable for recreation, etc. And we would then have about 40 acres of buildable land, of which we've laid out about 9 lots. But that's something we aren't able to fund right now at all. Thirdly, if we move from that to the Cornerstone Park, we've got 229 acres left there. We have one 7-acre plot that we sold to MDOT. We are currently working with one private owner on 2 acres, and we're excited. We hope we can make that come to fruition and have a private party in that park. There's another party that's looking at part of that park that we are excited about as well. We would hope, and one of you have indicated to me that activity may bring activity. That's very true. And we're hoping that we will see that come to fruition as quickly as we can. And then last, I'll have to comment, our new Golden Triangle economic development idea is now in place. We had the last member, a 4-member addition to the link board named this morning. You saw that in the paper from the County Board of Supervisors. That now will form our 4-member addition to the Columbus Link Board, and it'll be renamed and has been renamed the Golden Triangle Link. That will occur for 3 years unless the legislation is put in place and the new idea is passed, it'll remain in force for 36 months. However, if that occurs sooner than that, then it will then cease to be, and there'll be another new 12-member board appointed from the 3 counties equally, Lowndes, Clay, and Oktippi. When that's done, the projected funding of that will be about 1.73 mills of taxation at the county level for a new building to be built somewhere in the vicinity of the airport, or 1.41 mills of taxation if the new building is not built and an existing building is used. Having said that, that equates to about $1.2 million from Lowndes County, about $650,000 Oktippi County, and about $350,000 from Clay County. However, all 3 counties will be equally represented on the board, so there'll be no elephant in the room. Everybody will have equal representation. If I've talked too fast and missed something you'd like to know, I'll be glad to try to answer it. I appreciate your support, and I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Questions or comments for Mr. Wallace?
I have a comment and a really more a comment than a question, but in looking through the budget, it looks like you've accounted for the funds, that, as you said, that would be going to the regional economic development. And it also looks like you've noted that you'll have some changes in your leasing because your budget has reflected that going up ever so slightly from last year to the next.
Excellent.
So it looks like you've accounted for the things that are changes from one year to the next, and we appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
And you were very conservative in your 2% number, so.
Well, I did that intentionally.
So,
Any further questions or comments for Mr. Wallace? Any further questions or comments? Well, Mr. Wallace, we thank you for your service, and it is a pleasure to serve on the OCEDA board with you.
Thank you very much. Happy Thanksgiving to all.
Happy
to
Thanksgiving.
you.
All right, the next matter before you is the request for approval of the claims docket with the exception of the fire department. Discussion.
Move approval.
A motion has been made by Alderman Sistrunk to approve of the City of Starkville claims docket for all departments except the fire department as of November 15th, 2012 as presented. Alderman Sistrunk, is that your motion?
It is.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Corey. Alderman Sistrunk, you wish to speak on the merits? Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please signify by saying nay.
Nay.
By a vote of 3 in favor with 2 against, this measure passes. The next matter before you is a report from the Finance Director, City Clerk Taylor Adams on progress and changes within the department. It looks like I'm going to take a moment to get the presentation configured, so everybody just sit tight.
Would it be easier if I sat here or stood over there in front of the screen?
It's up to you, wherever you're most comfortable.
I'll sit here because I think the mic, for Bill, I think the mic will probably get it a little better if I'm here. Before I get started, I'd like to once again thank all of you, Mr. Mayor, Board of Aldermen, for the opportunity to be your first Director of Finance. I'm truly grateful for the opportunity that you've afforded me, and I appreciate the opportunity to sort of give a report on some of the things that we've done in the office over the first, I guess, 90 days that I've been here. I'll start with a brief overview of the staff and the way that this is ordered just based on seniority, basically how long the staff has been with us, which is why you'll see we count our intern, even though she's an unpaid intern, above Ms. Harden. But anyway, as I dive in, I'd like to take a brief minute. It's rare that we as department heads actually get an opportunity to sort of brag on our staff in front of the board. And all of mine that are in town are here tonight. So ladies, if you would, sort of stand up. Ms. Clark is out of town. This was a planned sort of trip for her, but we've got Ms. McLaurin, Ms. Halbert, and Ms. Henderson here with us tonight. Of course, Ms. Harden has been hired but has not joined us yet. Thank you, ladies. But what I wanted to say about each of them, I would not trade the staff that I have for any staff in the world. And so thank you. I think it's a credit to former clerk Outlaw and to Ms. Gandy, who's now the director of our sanitation department, that you all have put a wonderful staff together, or that they put a wonderful staff together with your approval. Ms. Clark has a tremendous amount of sort of institutional knowledge. What people, this will mean something to Ms. Sistrunk. I mean, what people say in the accounting world is she knows where all the bodies are buried, and in 15 years, that's absolutely, in her 15 years of experience and the experience she put together at the county before that, that is absolutely true, and she is a great asset to both the city but also to me directly. Ms. McLaurin is sort of our second, I guess, most tenured person in the office, but the thing that, and by the way, as I'm a lot of the traits that I'm going to highlight on these ladies individually, I mean, they all sort of exemplify, but the thing about Ms. McLaurin that I like is she never sort of shies away from a challenge. If I need somebody to throw their hand up, and all the ladies throw their hands up and volunteer whenever I ask them to, but Ms. McLaurin seems to be hungry to sort of move forward and participate. We appreciate that. Ms. Halbert is an absolute workhorse. I mean, and her and the sacrifices that she made for the city were sort of highlighted when you all made her Employee of the Month last month, and it was well deserved. And really appreciate you all recognizing her for her service in that capacity. But something quick about Ms. Halbert is just the sort of the quiet leadership that she brings to our office every day is something that is difficult to find in staff positions, and I just sort of I appreciate the effort that she brings. Ms. Henderson is if I were to look up the ideal customer service experience at City Hall, I'm going to fall back with Ms. Henderson every time. I'm delighted that she was able to join us as a full-time employee shortly into my tenure, but she does a fantastic job of greeting the public and with a smile, which goes a long way in our business. It's tough to find a smile in government sometimes, and we appreciate the effort that she brings us there. And of course, Ms. Hernandez, she's our intern, and Ms. Harden is not with us yet. But for the members of my staff that are here in full time, I wanted to just take a minute. I hope this is probably the longest thing that I cover, but just to brag on my folks a little bit, because ladies, I truly appreciate the effort that you bring every day. And Emma, thank you to you and to Ms. Outlaw. Thank you for the effort that you all put into building this staff. You all did a tremendous job. Thank you. Anyway, a quick overview from the organization side of what we have accomplished. And this is just sort of, a lot of this is stuff that certainly was going on, but just if you all wanted to know what we had been doing, these are all things that would be, if I was sitting where you all are, this is stuff that would be important to me. All of the required filings that we are required by statute to submit are in. I think that's big, as we've just wrapped a fiscal year. There were some filings that we had to get in. That is complete. Our minutes are being submitted within the 30-day approval window. Our minute books are updated, and this is just sort of this speaks to the, it's one of our more tedious things, but after you all approve minutes, of course, we have to get them onto the official record, get them recorded, get them certified, and we are up to date with our minute books, and we're currently working on the indexes for the 3 books that we've updated. Speaking to that, we're in the process, hopefully, of coming to you all in the near future for approval. This is a budgeted line item where right now should be down there. So yeah, just completed reorganization of the vault, and I am excited to report that we found basically every minute book starting with minute book 1. So we have a complete record of the minutes of the city of Starkville. And I would encourage any of you to stop by the vault. I'm very proud of the work that our team has done I know nobody wants to look at the vault except me, but I'm proud of the work that they have done to sort of, to organize that room. But minute book 1 is in there. It has a date in mid-1800s. Moving forward from that, and it is becoming sort of tattered in a hurry. hopefully one of the things that we will be bringing to you in the near future is we're going to bring a scanning company in that would establish a searchable online database that we would have here in the city. And then we'd like to work with the city the city library, who's also very excited to participate in this effort, who has the facility to store these earlier minute books. Now, obviously, there is a requirement that this information is kept available to the public, but just know that it is a priority for us to preserve the record of previous boards and to do whatever we have to do to preserve those minutes. We've established a municipal audit schedule. Basically, what does this mean? It's a big calendar that starting in January will have all of our submission deadlines on it. It's hanging on the wall, and that's really that's in the interest of becoming a cross-functional sort of support team for each other. It's having those submission deadlines on the wall for us will be sort of an instant reminder to make sure that we're getting things to the state of Mississippi when they're required, but also as it relates to grant deadlines, things of that nature. Things that we have sort of opportunities that existed when I arrived. When I arrived, we were in the middle of the 2013 budget cycle. That is approved and now in force and compliance with the state advertising guidelines. Our Tyler technology implementation, if you all will remember, 18 months ago you acquired this software, and it's routine when you acquire a new finance solution, that there are bugs that have to be worked out, and there are issues that sort of persist beyond implementation. There were at minimum 10, and the ladies behind me might tell you there were a lot more than that when we got here. But through their help and the support of Ms. Clark, and then Tyler Technologies customer service group, we were down to 3 problems that we knew of when this happened. And that's not to say that we won't find another one, but we do anticipate that we will have a fully implemented, debugged operation within 30 days. At least that is the commitment that our software provider has made to me, and we're going to do everything that we can to hold them to that schedule. We have 1 position remaining to sort of reach full staffing within the budget. You all approved that for me tonight, so thank you very much. And that's a part-time filing clerk that we'll be advertising. Our issue with MDHS has been resolved, and we are with Attorney Latimer's help and the mayor's, and we're delighted that we've been able to put that to bed. And then something that if I can give a credit to Joel or Mr. Clements, we're working within sort of the scope of his website, the new website rollout that's coming to add sort of an online payment functionality for the city, which we believe will be a great benefit to community members who, I mean, right now, if you want to pay us, essentially you come up here and pay us in this check, something like that. But this would give someone the means from their own home through our web portal to pay via credit card, and we believe that will be a great asset to the community. And just so you know, thank you, Joel, for the work that you have. There you are. Yeah. Thank you, Joel, for the work that you have done in helping us bring that functionality in. Active initiatives. These are things that I am working on right now. One of my big goals, you remember from my interview, is that and one of the things you all tasked me with right out of the gate was to be more proactive as it relates to helping department heads meet needs and things of that nature. One of the things that we're working on is financing requests. In fact, we're meeting with area bankers in the near future to hopefully add some streamlining to this process. But in early results, this is working well. We had a quote that came in from a department actually 2 departments, both in the mid 5% range, for some lease purchase financing of equipment that we desperately need. Through exposing this to competition, we're looking at rates, a 3-year rate of we tentatively 1.71%, and a 5-year rate on the second item for somewhere in the 2.02%. So we're assuming those numbers. We do not have that quote in house, but in conversation with the bank that has quoted this just before I came in, that's the number that they anticipate will be on the quote tomorrow morning. Something we're very excited about. You all gave me the charge to deliver our audit. This came through the Audit and Budget Committee. You all gave me the charge to get you audited financials faster than you're accustomed to seeing. I looked at the last three audits. They all came in the somewhere in between February 28th and March 7th. We have submitted everything that our auditor has requested to date. They are tentatively scheduled to be here on December 10th, and we are managing this process with them and have made them aware of the schedule in which we're working, and our hope is that we will have that we will be able to provide you audited financial statements by the end of January, possibly first week of February, but we're working for at least a review for you by mid-January. But that's a conversation that we'll be managing with our external auditor. Something else that we're adding this year, and this may add a little time to it, we're adding focused audits of specific departments, and this is just sort of an internal control mechanism. We're speaking, and when I say that the due to, due from, and we're speaking due to and due from basically the general fund. And so when we're talking about due to, we pay out to two departments really, and they're but one is to the Parks Commission, one is to the and that's $844,000 basically general fund allocation, followed by basically when you add in the 2% money, it scales up to 1.4 million basically that we're paying out to Park. And then the other is basically our auto maintenance shop, and that's basically they're billing other departments, they're billing other general fund departments and some enterprise funds for work. So we'll look at them first just because those are the groups that we're paying money to. This is all, of course, with your approval. But then following that, we'll add in the three basically enterprise funds that pay into general fund. Idea being we've got a complete look from an audit standpoint and from an internal control standpoint as it relates to our due tos, due from. So we'll set up a 5-year cycle by which one department hits we can do that without adding any substantial cost to the audit, and so we're confident that will add value to the information that we can deliver to you. The cooperative procurement conversation with Columbus is back on the table. I had a meeting 2 weeks ago with their CAO and then my counterpart there. I'm optimistic as to what can come from that, and just know that there will be more conversation on the back end of that. We're working with. I have 2 team members, myself being one of them, because you all have given me 3 years to complete the municipal clerk certification, so I'm one. But also our most senior, basically deputy clerk, Ms. McLaurin, is in the program, and my hope is that we will start a 3rd employee in the municipal certification program in 2013. My hope is that we'll have a fully certified office in 4 years. I mean, of course, that's contingent on us having the budget availability to do it, but I think that's a great asset to the city to have it, and also hopefully will provide some great opportunity for the staff in my office. Our incoming employee, Ms. Harden, has already completed the program, so it'll be nice to have her expertise in there. We have a citywide contract for services with GovDeals. There was one with police when I got here. We've expanded that citywide, I should say, we are in the process of expanding it citywide in the sense that we have got to bring them here for training, but and also we're looking at a procurement card program, which again, that's something that we'll be coming to you to talk about. It's something that the last clerk was working on, and I just hope to complete that process. I believe it adds a lot of functionality for our end using departments. End user access to the Tyler system. What are we talking about? End users. We're talking about department heads. Once we get a debug system, our hope would be that we would push some of this functionality out to the department heads in an effort to give you, to give them and you and us as well real time sort of budget checks on where we are, what's out there, what's basically what is encumbered in our system. We're doing cross-functional training of our team already. This is the team in my office, and one of the things that I am excited about is as we participated in a larger performance measurement group for the last couple of years. This is something that we will do this year. We will incorporate a performance measure into the budgeting process. There are a couple of awards that I think our city can get, and granted they're long-term awards, but one of the most of those on the budgeting side for municipalities are going to have some performance measurement in the budgeting process. I believe that that with a couple of tweaks, we can achieve the Excellence Procurement Award this year. And as of, we should have a letter from the Office of Purchasing, Travel, and Fleet Management in Jackson, I would think sometime in the next 2 to 3 weeks, that would delineate us as a certified purchasing office, which allows us sort of more authority within the law. And so that is basically what I have done. Something that I think was in the presentation that I did not cover is our contract for tax collection with the county is up for renewal, and Mr. Morgan and I have already had a number of conversations on that, and I'm optimistic that we will have that we will have some resolution to that issue in the near future. And that's everything I have.
Are there any questions or comments for Mr. Adams from the members of the board? Any questions? Alderman Sistrunk.
I'll say it's an ambitious schedule, and I wish you well in it. And like all our city departments, y'all do a lot with limited resources, and we appreciate your hard work, all of you. So, thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Sistrunk.
Any further questions or comment? Alderman Perkins.
Yes, sir, Mr. Adams, I walked in the boardroom tonight, I saw those distinguished looking ladies back there. I said, oh, they've gotta be from the city clerk's office, so y'all have always done a great job.
Well, I felt kind of bad keeping them from their families this evening, but like I say, thank you, Alderman Perkins.
Sure.
We do get just we don't have very many opportunities to sort of recognize our staff in front of you all, and I've got a great one, so thank you for that.
Any further questions or comments from the members of the board?
Yeah.
Alderman Corey.
When you get the minutes scanned, will those also be available through the city website?
Potentially. I mean, of course, if that is something the board would like to see, I think Mr. Clements and I would have to find out how that would work on the new website. But what I can tell you is it will be a searchable record on the internet that all employees would have access to. Okay. But with regard to whether we have the functionality to make that available to the public,
We'd have to look at storage space for sure, going back to the 1860s.
Yeah.
You may want to speak to the Chancery Clerk about that. I know that's something she's been working on for a while. And they originally scanned them and have been accessing them internally, and now they're looking at releasing them to the general public online, I think sometime in the next couple months.
I think it'd be wonderful if we could make a complete record of the city's minutes available to the public. But again, that would just certainly, I'll reach out to her. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure.
Any further questions or comments from the members of the board?
And that Alderman Corey's comment prompted me to say I'm very excited about our new website, and I think it's going to roll out soon.
In about 2 weeks, that's right.
I think it will be much more user-friendly, and I think it's something that will allow people to track what we're doing here much more easily.
Any further questions or comments from the members of the board? Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, Mr. Adams, I'll make a comment or two myself, and that is just to say that you and your staff have obviously done a lot in a very short period of time, and I see you every day, and I see how hard all of you work. It is much appreciated.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
And thank you, board.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you, ladies.
All right, that concludes the open session portion of our agenda. We do have some items for potential discussion in executive session. Do I hear a motion to go into a closed session?
So moved.
Motion has been made by Alderman Vaughn to go into a closed session to determine whether there is a need for an executive session. Alderman Vaughn, is that your motion?
That's my motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Corey. Alderman Vaughn, you wish to speak on the merits? Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Measure passes. We'll now ask that everybody clear the room so that the board can go into a closed session to determine whether there is a need for an executive session.
Oh, thank you very much.
Litigated matters.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I saw the